He became a billionaire. Owned skyscrapers. Controlled empires. But when he knocked on her door, after 3 years, 4 little voices looked up at him. And one question destroyed everything he thought he had. Are you, my father? What he saw next was not success. It was the life he left behind. And someone else was already living it. Stay till the end. Because this is not a story about becoming rich. It is about realizing what truly makes you one. I built my empire on silence and sleepless nights. Glass towers carry my name now. Private jets wait for my command. People call me a billionaire. But they do not know what it cost me. 3 years ago, I was just a man with empty pockets and a heart full of reckless dreams. And her, Aisha, she was not just love. She was home. I still remember the smell of cheap coffee in that tiny apartment, the peeling paint, the broken window we covered with cardboard. Winter used to crawl inside like an uninvited guest. She would wrap her shawl around me instead of herself. You need it more, she would whisper. Her hands were always cold, but her heart burned like fire. I had nothing to give her. Just promises. Just ambition. Just late nights. And constant failure. I failed so many times. That rejection started to feel normal. Investors laughed. Friends disappeared. Even my own family said, "You will destroy your life chasing illusions." And one night, I almost believed them. I sat on the floor, head in my hands, staring at unpaid bills. The room smelled of stress and defeat. "I am done," I said. "I cannot do this anymore." Silence filled the room. Then, her footsteps. Soft. Steady. She sat beside me. Not in front of me. Not above me. Beside me. Like a soldier. Refusing to leave the battlefield. She placed something in my hand. Her gold bangles. The only thing she had from her mother. "Sell these," she said. My chest tightened. "No." Her eyes did not move. "We are not losing," she whispered. "We are investing." There was no fear in her voice. Only belief. In me. That night, something changed. Not outside. Inside me. I worked like a man who had nothing left to lose. Days blurred into nights. Nights turned into opportunities. One small deal became 2. 2 became 10. And slowly, the world that once rejected me started calling me a genius. But success has a cruel price. The higher I climbed, the more I drifted. Meetings replaced moments. Money replaced meaning. And one evening, I came home late. Again. The apartment was quiet. Too quiet. Her cup of tea sat untouched. Cold. Just like the air between us. "You are changing," she said softly. "I am building our future," I replied. She looked at me. Not angry. Just hurt. "I do not need your future," she said. "I needed your presence." I said nothing. Because deep down, I knew she was right. But ambition is a dangerous addiction. It convinces you that sacrifice is necessary, even when you are sacrificing the wrong things. Days later, she left. No drama. No shouting. Just a note. I hope you find what you are looking for. That was the day I became truly rich and completely empty. Years passed. The world saw my success. Awards. Interviews. Headlines. But every night, I stared at the ceiling of my luxurious penthouse, feeling poorer than ever before. Until yesterday. 3 years later, I finally found her address. My hands trembled as I stood outside the door. The paint was faded. The same smell of simplicity hung in the air. I knocked. My heart beat louder than the sound. The door opened. And there she stood. Aisha. But she was not alone. 4 tiny hands held onto her dress. 4 little faces looked up at me. Identical. My breath stopped. My voice refused to come out. She looked at me. And then she looked at me. And then she stepped back. Not in fear. In distance. Come in, she said quietly. Her voice calm. Too calm. The room was small. Simple. But alive. 4 little pairs of shoes near the door. 4 drawings on the wall. Stick figures. A woman. And 4 children. No man. Something inside me broke. They are. My voice cracked. She did not rush to answer. She walked past me. Picked up one child. Then another. Held her hand. The other 2 hid behind her dress. They are mine, she said. Mine. The word echoed like thunder in my chest. And mine. Silence. Heavy. Unforgiving. She looked into my eyes. The same eyes that once believed in me. Without question. Now. They searched me. As if asking, are you worthy of the truth? You left, she said softly. You chose your world. Each word. Gentle. But sharp. I waited, she continued. Not for your money. But for you. My throat tightened. I was building everything. For us, I whispered. Her lips trembled. For us. A faint, painful smile. Or for the man you wanted to become. I had no answer. Because for the first time, I saw it clearly. The empire. The success. The applause. It was never about us. It was about my hunger. One of the children walked toward me. Small steps. Curious eyes. She held a crayon in her tiny hand. Are you Papa? The word hit me harder than any failure I had ever known. My knees felt weak. My world shifted. I looked at Aisha. Tears stood in her eyes now. Not falling. Just waiting. Like she had waited. For me. For years. My voice failed. Because I did not know if I deserved to say yes. The child tilted her head. Waiting. Hoping. Trusting. A stranger. And in that moment, all my billions felt meaningless. All my victories felt hollow, because the one thing I had lost was standing right in front of me, breathing, alive, calling me something I had never been, a father. And Aisha, she finally spoke again, because something told me this moment was about to change everything again. The knock came again, louder, more certain. Aisha did not move immediately. Her eyes met mine. A silent warning, or a silent fear. "I will get it," she said. She gently moved past me. The children instinctively held on to her dress, as if they knew something I did not. The door opened. A man stood outside, well-dressed, composed, familiar confidence in the way he carried himself. My kind of world, my kind of power. But his presence here felt wrong. His eyes shifted from Aisha to the children, and then to me. A brief pause. Sharp, calculating. "I see you have company," he said. His tone polite, but edged. Aisha stepped slightly forward. Protective. "Yes," she replied. Just one word. But it drew a line. Invisible, yet undeniable. The man nodded slowly. "I was not informed," he added. Something inside me tightened. "Informed?" I repeated, before I could stop myself. His gaze locked onto mine. Cold. Measured. "And you are?" The question. Simple. But it carried a quiet challenge. I took a step forward. "I am the man who should have been here 3 years ago." Silence. Heavy. The children looked between us. Confused. Uncertain. The man's jaw tightened slightly. Then he smiled. But it did not reach his eyes. "I see," he said. And somehow that felt like a threat. Aisha exhaled slowly. "This is Farhan," she said, her voice steady. "He has helped us when no one else did." Each word a quiet truth and a sharp reminder. Farhan stepped inside, like he belonged there, like he had earned a place I had abandoned. I had been part of their lives for a long time, he said calmly. Not loud, not aggressive, but firm. The kind of firmness that comes from presence, not promises. My chest burned, not with anger, with realization. While I was building my empire, someone else was building my family. One of the children ran to him, held his hand, comfortably, naturally, as if it had always been that way. Something inside me cracked, deep, irreversible. I looked at Aisha. Her eyes held mine. Not guilty, not apologetic, just honest. "You were not here," she said softly. No blame, just truth. And for the first time, I felt fear. Not of losing money, not of failure, but of being too late. Farhan looked at me again, then said something that made my heart stop. "They call me Baba." The word did not echo. It shattered inside me. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. I looked at the children. One of them was already holding his hand. Another leaned comfortably against him. No hesitation. No distance. Just belonging. Something I had lost. Before I even knew. It was mine. My fingers curled slowly. Not in anger. In regret. Deep. Burning. Aisha stepped forward. "Do not," she said softly. "Not to him. To me." As if she could feel the storm rising inside my chest. "I am not here to take anything," I said. My voice low. Unsteady. "I already took enough. By leaving." Farhan watched me carefully, measuring truth against ego. "And now?" he asked. Simple. Direct. But it carried a weight I could not escape. Now. What did I want now? Redemption. Forgiveness. A place I had never earned. I looked at the children again. 4 lives. 4 heartbeats. 4 silent questions. In their eyes. Who are you? And why did you come back? My throat tightened. I do not know. What I deserve, I admitted. Honest. Raw. But I know. I cannot walk away again. Aisha's eyes softened. Just a little. Not fully. Not yet. You do not get to decide that alone, she said. Her words. Gentle. But firm. This is not about you anymore. She was right. For the first time in my life. It was not about my dreams. My ambition. My success. It was about them. Farhan crossed his arms. Not defensive. Grounded. They need stability, he said. Not promises. Every word. True. Painfully true. I nodded slowly. I spent years building something big, I said. But I never learned how to build something real. Silence followed. Not empty. Thinking. Heavy with decisions yet to be made. One of the little girls walked toward me again. Careful steps. She held something in her hand. A small drawing. She placed it in my palm. 4 children. A woman. Anne. 2 men. One standing far. One standing close. My breath caught. I made this yesterday, she said softly. I did not know. Which one is you? The words. Innocent. But they cut deeper than anything else. I looked up. At Aisha. At Farhan. At the life that had moved on. Without me. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. Love was no longer waiting for me. It was asking me to prove I deserved it. And before I could speak, Aisha took a slow step forward and said something that changed everything. They asked about you every single night. Her voice trembled now. Not weak. Heavy. They used to point at the door, thinking you would walk in. Each word. A quiet storm. I told them stories, she continued. About a man who was brave, who was kind, who was trying to build a better life. My chest tightened. But I stopped. When I realized. She paused. Her fingers gently brushed the hair of the child beside her. I was teaching them to wait for someone who chose not to return. The silence that followed was unbearable. I did not know, I whispered. I swear. I did not know. She nodded slowly. I know, she said. And somehow, that hurt even more. Because she was not angry. She had already forgiven me. Long ago. I thought success would fix everything, I said. I thought once I made it, I would come back and give you the life you deserved. A tear finally escaped her eye. I did not need a better life, she said. I needed you. In the life we already had. The truth landed deep inside me. Unavoidable. Unforgiving. One of the children wrapped her tiny arms around my leg. Soft. Careful. Like she was afraid I might disappear. Do not go again, she whispered. For simple words. But they carried 3 years of absence. 3 years of questions. 3 years of silent longing. My hands trembled as I slowly knelt down. I looked into their faces for reflections of a life I never showed up for. I am here now, I said. But even I did not fully believe it. Because being present was something I had never truly learned. Aisha watched me. Not with anger. Not with hope. But with caution. As if her heart had rebuilt itself. Without me. You can leave again, she said quietly. Men like you always do. The words were calm. But they carried the weight of experience. I stood there, surrounded by everything I had once lost. And everything I did not yet deserve. Then suddenly, a knock on the door. Sharp. Unexpected. Aisha's expression changed. The children grew still. And my heart dropped. Because something told me this moment was about to change everything again.